Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Got a little tractor boy next door, but he's pretty far away. Hope that doesn't bug you. Good to be back home after 2 trips in 2 weeks, Vegas and Texas. So it's nice to be back home, sleeping in my own bed. So today's topic is going to be, aside from symptoms, where's the hard proof of damage? All right. So I'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna relax, and of course I sit out here and here come the cicadas. Hope that doesn't bug you too much. I think they hear me talking, they start screaming. All right. So, aside from symptoms, what's your proof that you're injured or damaged or broken? Because a lot of people say, well, my symptoms started right after this happened, so it must have been an injury, must have been damage. And this conversation happens an awful lot for people on medicine or coming off of medicine. And I'm not here to debate whether or not, certain medications can cause problems. I believe they can, and they often do. But what I am really just trying to do is say, how are you sure? The presence of symptoms doesn't guarantee injury. The presence of symptoms guarantees that your brain perceived the danger, turned on symptoms, and then the fear of damage and injury may keep those symptoms going long term. And so I'm open to being wrong, and I'm sure if anybody here is from the medication withdrawal community, where it seems very prevalent for people to be claiming brain injured, medication damaged, and nothing you can do but wait. And these people are terrified, and anybody who participates in those communities will also get terrified because they're telling a really scary story that you've been injured by this medication. There's nothing you can do about it other than wait. And I don't like that story because I believe that the brain is miraculous. People recover from strokes, learn to walk again, form all sorts of new connections. And the brain's perception of danger and or damage and or injury is absolutely involved in the intensity and duration of symptoms. So I didn't really intend for this to be a medication discussion. It can also be relevant to, hey, I felt some pain come on during my workout at the gym. But aside from the symptom, the pain, where's your hard evidence of damage or true injury? Because I've said this often, I'll keep on saying it. An acute onset of symptoms feels an awful lot like an injury. But how do you know? How do you know you've been injured? Because what I'll tell you from my own personal experience, anytime I have an acute onset of symptoms, pain, my first go-to is, ouch. My second go-to is, I'm going to treat this like mind-body TMS, perceived danger pain. And even if it's not, I'm going to trust that my body will heal very quickly. Case in point, I was doing some sprints up the driveway when I was trying to do a little bit of running out here. And, after about a week of doing sprints around here, I went for the big sprint up the steep driveway. And halfway up, I felt a pull in my right hamstring. Ouch. Ooh. Limped the rest of the way up the hill. My brain initially went, pulled something. My thoughtful, mind-body aware brain said, maybe, or maybe the brain just perceived that activity to be dangerous. In either case, it hurt. In either case, I took a break. I stopped running, went inside, relaxed. I didn't ice it. I didn't put heat on it. I just basically limped around. And I just trusted. If it was a true pull, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't severe. It was ouch when running up the driveway. So I trusted my body to heal if there was a true injury. And then I told myself, taught my brain, I don't have to be involved. I don't have to participate in this. If it was an injury, it'll heal. If it's a mind-body thing where the brain perceived danger, I still don't have to be involved. I can discount it as not relevant, not important, not significant, and not scary. And what ended up happening in that scenario is 3 days later, my hamstring stopped hurting. Was it TMS? Was it perceived danger? Was it a true pull that hurt? I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, the solution is still the same. Trust the body, teach the brain. Trust the body to heal if it was a true injury. Teach the brain that we're not in danger, we're okay, we're going to be okay. And sure enough, every time that happens, it works. I dropped a big metal stand on my big toe, right on the toenail. Ouch, true injury. Toenail turned purple, right? It hurt, but I trusted my body and I didn't flip out about it. Yeah, I limped for a few days. 3 days in, it stopped hurting. Trust the body, teach the brain. Now, a lot of you folks are going to say, yeah, these examples aren't the same, but I pulled my back out working out in the gym. It very well might be. Might be TMS. Might be an acute onset of TMS. How do I know? Throughout my 13 years, I've done it dozens of times where I'd bend over to do something and I'd get that, ouch, acute back spasm that left me laying on the floor, knees up, trying to let my back decompress. And it felt like an injury every time. But I can say with certainty now, looking back, it was never an injury. It was always an acute onset of TMS because my brain perceived bending over or picking something up was dangerous, so ouch, it turned it on. Does that make sense? So, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So, aside from your symptoms, where's your proof of injury? Where's your proof of damage? Where's your proof of damage from things like medication? They can't see it on a blood test. They can't see it on an MRI, an X-ray, a CAT scan. The correlation of stopping meds or tapering off and the onset of symptoms certainly makes it look like the lack of the medication caused a problem. It could also be that the brain noticed a difference chemically, perceived it as dangerous, and turned on symptoms. And if you had any amount of education on medication withdrawal and the possible scenarios and the types of symptoms you may get as a result, if you went into the withdrawal with a lot of fear, it is possible that set the stage for your brain, your subconscious, not your fault, but your subconscious brain to be on high alert for any changes as a result of the meds being tapered or taken away, and symptoms can turn on. And if you immediately jump to the conclusion, oh my goodness, I've been damaged like all those other stories, you could stay in fear, perceiving danger, consciously, subconsciously, which may cause symptoms to escalate, magnify, multiply, and stick around for a long time, when it may have just been an acute onset of the brain perceiving danger, turning on symptoms, and then falling into that fear loop ever since. Now again, for anybody who believes they have been medication injured, I am not discounting your experience. I am not telling you that you're wrong and you have not been injured. I'm just offering an alternate possibility as to what's going on. And when you look at it all under the umbrella of perceived danger, to me it makes sense that the perception of danger in the brain, conscious and subconscious, is way more involved than a lot of people may realize. And if you allocate 100% of your experience with symptoms, whether it be a back strain or a set of symptoms from medication withdrawal or even long COVID, same thing. The correlation of symptoms doesn't prove that it's a viral thing. The presence of symptoms only indicates one thing: the brain's perceiving danger. And if getting the pandemic disease was fearful for you, there's no way that the perception of danger in the brain was not involved. Is there a viral component? I don't know. I don't know how we figure that out. I don't know that the doctors have figured that out, that the scientists have figured it out. But I can assure you that the brain's perception of what's going on and the amount of fear and worry you've got over the COVID, for example, the medication withdrawal, for example, and any symptoms that happened, the perception of danger is massively involved. And so don't discount that. And so I guess what I'm here to pose is, what's the harm in teaching your brain, I'm going to be okay no matter what? I'm going to remain calm. Because even if the medication did have some effect, I can assure you panicking and freaking out does not help the situation. It only can magnify it. Because in the case of like medication withdrawal and the symptoms, there's not a lot of solutions. A lot of times the doctors will be like, well, let me put you back on them. Okay. Not necessarily moving you forward, but keeping you still in the hopes that we get a little bit of symptom management. But at the end of the day, there's no danger, no harm, no downside to remaining calm, trusting your body. You know, the Dr. Schubner, Howard Schubner, said the brain and body will adjust to the reduction in medication and you will be fine. So even Howard Schubner seems to feel that we shouldn't have so much fear about reducing medication, because it's that fear that oftentimes creates more of an issue. So trust the body, trust the brain. It knows how to adjust, it knows how to take care of you, and it will. Your role in this is to trust that you're going to be okay, that remaining calm is the way out. Remain certain that any symptoms are not proof of damage or injury, but they are just proof that the brain's perceiving danger. So I hope this makes sense. And with that, I'm going to wrap this one up. Where's your proof? Symptoms are not proof. Symptoms are proof of one thing, the brain perceiving danger. They're not proof of damage or injury. So, love you folks. Good to be back home. And as always, we will see you tomorrow. Take care.